Greetings and welcome to HBCU Africa Homecoming Video Event 2021. The theme for this third annual event is 100,000 Strong Africa, reflective of the 100,000 Strong in the Americas Innovation Fund. This collaborative effort, designed by members of the HBCU Africa Education Consortium, seeks to connect students and faculty of African descent throughout the diaspora with students and faculty on the African continent. The goal is to build and strengthen relationships through travel, research, service projects, and cultural exchange on a reciprocal platform. The co-chairs for this event, Dr. Beverly Booker Ama, Hampton University alum and founder of 3GC Inc., along with Professor Dr. Michael Williams, alum, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and founder of the Aya Center in Ghana, West Africa, deserve distinct acknowledgement for the time and effort that they put into preparing for this video event. Thank you so much to these two amazing leaders for all that they have done and continue to do to make an impact in the lives of students and study abroad and beyond. If this is your first introduction to HBCU Africa Homecoming and your institution is not already connected, please take the time to send a message through our website or social media so that we can connect. I would also like to say a huge thank you to the members of the planning team, the working group, and subcommittees. You all are moving forward the 100,000 Strong Africa initiative. Your sweat equity and positive energy is amazing. To plan a theme for an event and then craft an initiative with deliverables and tangible results is no easy task. So we look forward to the May 16th through 20th event on the ground in Ghana 2022, where all HBCUs and allied institutions are invited for a great representation of HBCUs during the MOU signing at the 100,000 Strong Africa Conference hosted by Academic City University. HBCU Africa Homecoming looks forward to the next steps with this collective. As co-founders of African Diaspora Nation, which created the platform for HBCU Africa Homecoming, my husband, Kwabena Boateng, and I are excited to announce that he accepted a position with Amazon Robotics. This does mean that our young and lean organization will have limited access to his participation. We will continue to seek out ways to connect, collaborate, and build bridges among Africa and its diaspora. So let's take a look at some of that passionate work building up to this third annual HBCU Africa Homecoming, starting in 2015.
To facilitate citizens' engagement and empowerment for educational, socio-economic, and spiritual upliftment of the global African community.
I bring you salutations to ADN. My name is Paul Adefarasi. I'm the senior pastor and founder of the House on the Rock Churches and also a founding global advisory board member of the African Diaspora Nation. From what I know of ADN's vision and mission, I believe that we are witnessing the birth of a company of people who serve as vehicles to heighten the consciousness of Africans everywhere in the world about the power of voices and action in harmony and symphony.
It's just to encourage us to continue this type of discourse because we are rebranding Africa.
Where is the leadership?
Yeah, it's right here.
Hey!
And it's out there.
All right. Yeah, I'm aligned.
That's right.
The time is now.
The time is right now.
The resources are there.
They are
here. The barriers have never been lower.
Never been lower.
So, and I don't want to look at it like it's only us giving. There's a tremendous amount of resources that can be shared with us as well, whether it's intellectual capital, whether it's natural resources, or whether it's financing.
We over here in Ghana, and we're kicking off this inaugural HBCU Africa Homecoming, happening in this significant moment, 400 years since the first enslaved Africans arrived in English America. We're having this kickoff of the first ever HBCU Africa Homecoming initiative in Akusum.
We are grateful for all of his hard work to act on a conviction that the African brand is powerful and must reconcile and lead.
Framework, and I'm just going to continue so that we can actually have a conversation and we have a way of understanding where we're going, how we're going to get there. And so let me come back in. So in terms of the positioning, in terms of the framing, that there are certain key elements that we need to have. And you'll see in the presentations that follow, what we ultimately want to have happen is that virtual reality becomes an augmented reality. The augmented reality version of this is that it actually becomes something that you see, feel, touch, it pops out. In the virtual space, it is something that's in our minds and that we are actually crafting, but ultimately we want to actually bring it to a reality and augment the reality that we exist in today so that we can actually be partners with other people around the world. Buckminster Fuller said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Why put up telephone lines when you can use satellites and then have mobile phones? Why? It doesn't make any sense. And so what we're saying is that, no, let's think beyond the box. So we don't even reference the box anymore. We're going to be in a virtual world where we actually create what it is that we are looking to have.
And so 150 years ago, Clark and Morehouse and Spelman all were founded around 150 years ago, Howard University. But there was a college down in South Africa that was 168 years old. That was Adams College, and that's where Oliver Tambo went to school. That's where Nelson Mandela was part of the formation of the African National Congress. I don't know the name of the college in Ghana, but it was Forbay in Sierra Leone. There's an American university in Zimbabwe. And there's a network of colleges across this nation and Africa that are the key to the future of the planet Earth. And so this is important.
United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are important because when you achieve those goals, which are currently set for 2030, you are going to eliminate these disparities. So it is a very important strategic anchor.
I've been asked, my name is Nimata Blyden. I'm a professor of history at George Washington University. And I've been asked to talk about the history of Africa and HBCUs, framing the importance of coalition building into the future role. In 1881, in a talk entitled The Aims and Methods of a Liberal Education, Edward Wilmot Blyden declared, "A college in West Africa for the education of African youth by African instructors under a Christian government conducted by Negroes is something so unique in the history of Christian civilization that wherever in the civilized world the intelligence of the existence of such an institution is carried, there will be curiosity, if not anxiety, as to its character, its work, and its prospects. A college suited in all respects to the exigencies of this nation and to the needs of the race cannot come into existence all at once. It must be the result of years of experience, of trial, of experiment." He went on to say, "The work of a college like ours, and among a people like our people, must be at first generative. It must create a sentiment favorable to its existence. It must generate the intellectual and moral state in the community, which will give it not only a congenial atmosphere in which to thrive, but food and nutriment for its enlargement and growth. And out of this will naturally come the material conditions of its success." While he was referring specifically to Liberia College, founded in Monrovia in 1862, and despite his privileging of Christianity and male-centered language due to his 19th century sensibilities, the vision declared for this summit can be found in Blyden's ideas about education for African-descended people. Students from Africa as early as the 19th century made their way to campuses established for Black Americans in the United States. Whether James Agri from the Gold Coast, who studied at Livingston College, Kamba Simango from Mozambique at Talladega College, or Claudius Clement from Sierra Leone at Hampton University, in the 19th century, young Africans saw the United States, and HBCUs in particular, as sites of educational opportunities. Young women also came to study at HBCUs. From Liberia, Fatima Massaquoi at Lane College, Charlotte Manye and Adelaide Tansey, South Africans at Wilberforce University, Emma Youngblood, Zinga, and her sister Suluka, Flora Zito, Margaret Rattray, Nkabani, and Lena Clark Vunga, all from Congo, were brought by missionaries to study at Spelman College. Suluka and Emma married African-American men and stayed in the United States while others returned home. Some of Africa's most recognizable names had once been students at Black colleges. South African Alfred Zuma studied at Tuskegee, while Kwame Nkrumah and Nnamdi Azikiwe were students at Lincoln University. And of course, Azikiwe, some of you know, also studied at Howard. Hastings Banda from Malawi studied at Central State University, a historically Black college in Ohio. Nkrumah, Banda, and Azikiwe, of course, as many of us know, went on to lead their countries at independence. But Africans also influenced African Americans as teachers, although we don't, often know the stories of women. But these Africans served as role models for young Black students in a segregated American South and shaped American views about Africa. Many African Americans reversed the direction of educational exchange as they went to Africa on study abroad programs, embarked on research projects, and took up posts as faculty at institutions across the continent. William Leo Hansberry, professor at Howard University, who taught one of the first African history courses at an American university in the 1920s, he taught the first African history course at Howard University, was the founding director of the Institute of African Studies at the University of Nsukka in Nigeria. These forms of educational exchange were crucial to an Africa-centered knowledge production on both sides of the Atlantic, and have continued to this day, as evident from what we will hear these next 2 days at this summit. I will end as I began with a quote by Edward Blyden. "The African must advance by his own methods. He must possess a power distinct from that of the European. It has been proven that he knows how to take advantage of European culture and that he can be benefited by it. The proof was perhaps necessary, but it is not sufficient. We must show that we are able to go alone, to carve out our own way. We must not suppose that the Anglo-Saxon methods are final, that there is nothing for us to find out for our own guidance, and that we have nothing to teach the world. We look too much to foreigners and are dazzled almost to blindness by their exploits, so as to fancy that they have exhausted the possibilities of humanity."
It is important to me. It is a priority of my administration. I know I share that with my fellow presidents who you will hear from in just a little while on the presidential panel. We are excited to be a part of this homecoming. For many of us, it is not really a homecoming. It is a re-engagement opportunity. It is an opportunity to bring to bear all that we have to offer from our nation's HBCUs on issues that impact all people of color throughout the globe. We are powerful beyond measure, and we look forward to engaging with each of you as we find common solutions to uncommon problems in uncommon times, but we will overcome together. Thank you for being here today. We look forward to engaging with you as we move through the next day and a half.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the stage two other stakeholders. First of all, Dr. David Wilson, President of Morgan State University. Welcome, Dr. Wilson. Some opening remarks on the theme. And also, just what we've been joined by Dr. Ronald Johnson, a member of the Presidential Advisory Board on HBCUs and former president of Clark Atlanta University.
One of the speakers said, nobody else is going to build this for us. We need to build it. And we can no longer use ignorance as an excuse. It is time to move from rhetoric to reality.
But today, what are the specific commitments or intents that an institution can announce today? Because we're not just here to meet and talk. We're here to build, architect, and manifest, right? So we're going to transition to the presidential lounge session, where we're going to be met by other African presidents and vice chancellors over here, the Secretary General of the African Research Universities Alliance, vice chancellors from Kenya and all that, so that we can continue this discussion and come out with some real concrete announcements to make to the more than 700 people who are registered and are following what we're doing over here.
I hope that you enjoyed watching those video clips of all of the broad conversations and wonderful connections that have pursued in reaching toward the goal of connecting Africa to its diaspora. The 2020 virtual event for HBCU Africa Homecoming ended with a global charter being signed by many institutions and individuals, and we thank you so much if you participated in giving that support. Choosing 100,000 Strong Africa as a theme is an intentional step to focus in on study abroad. The idea of HBCUs deliberately connecting to the continent of Africa sounds simple enough and possibly familiar because for decades, leaders in education have committed to connecting students of color to the African continent. But this collaboration and focus is a legacy movement recognizing the urgency of now. event, it is important to also share ADN highlights from 2021. It is important to say a huge thank you to two special members of our community. Mr. Don Taylor, who is a Florida A&M University alum, as well as Coleman Jordan, who is a professor at Morgan State University. Their commitment to actualizing the Architecture Lecture Series, where over 100 participants across the African diaspora joined into 5 sessions for knowledge sharing, is greatly appreciated. You can find more about the Global Charter and the Architecture Lecture Series on our social media pages. Thank you so much for participating and watching this special HBCU Africa Homecoming video event for 2021. I extend my gratitude and best wishes. Have a wonderful day.